The final day of the Volta Catalunya. An amazing race that has produced such close racing. We come into the finale with just 1 second separating Ayuso and Primož Roglic. A lot at stake as well for other teams who are still to find something out of this race in terms of stage victories. But how close would it be by the very end? It was a question everybody wanted answering. Roglic himself carrying the points jersey on behalf of Ayuso, backed up of course by a strong UAE team Emirates that were hoping that they could just marshal proceedings, especially with an intermediate sprint coming very, very close to the start of the day. Well, 2 intermediates plus of course bonus seconds at the line, so our luck could change, and of course with 6 category 2 climbs along the way on the circuit around Montjuïc, there's a mountains jersey up for grabs as well. Finally we're off and underway, and no breakaways were allowed to go up the road. And after just 14 kilometres of racing, we had ourselves an intermediate sprint, and what a contest it turned out to be. Phenomenal ride. Well, Roglic was up there, so was Dents, and it meant that Ayuso picked up just 1 solitary second, Roglic the 3, and Roglic taking the lead of the race by 1 second. A switch around then between Ayuso and Roglic at the top. Destination Barcelona proper and the Montjuïc circuit. Before we even got there though, another intermediate sprint. Could you believe it? How would this one pan out? Into the corner to enter the start-finish straight that would be our intermediate sprint, and Ayuso hit back. Dents finished second, the teammate of Roglic, meaning that the lead switched once again to an advantage Ayuso, again by 1 solitary second overall. What a remarkable race, and what a remarkable day. Well, the mountains jersey was busy changing hands. Wenzel got up for the first of the category 2 tests. That meant that he took over the lead, and then the rolling accelerations began. Richard Carapaz was one of the first to hit out for EF Education Easy Post. But the favourites were busy looking at each other. How would this one pan out for them? Bruno Amarai from Decathlon AG2 à la Mondiale wanted a little piece of the fun as well. But when the mountains came, then of course it was about stamina. It was about what you had left in the tank. Could anyone possibly push on at a moment like this? Eyeballing each other, Ayuso and Roglic, and then Roglic decided to test the legs of absolutely everybody. Ayuso slightly out of position at this point, and then this gap became a chasm, and then became surely a winning margin. Could he be caught? That was the question. Roglic, an amazing descender, and he may not have had the high ground that he was looking for on stage 6, but this suited him just fine and dandy, thank you very much. Throughout this race, every time we've looked at the demeanour of Ayuso versus Roglic at the end of a tough day, Roglic has seemed the fresher, and that advantage was carried into the final day. Others were trying to rain down some kind of attempt to wind in this gap, but Roglic just kept it. Handsome. It did diminish ever so slightly as we got to the final time of asking on the circuit, but Roglic every time was moderating his pace, while Ayuso was falling into the grasp of many of the chasers here. Well, we got fighting forces being established out there. Van Eetvelt for Lotto was up towards the front, so was Laurens de Plus of Ineos Grenadiers. Enric Mas was looking handy. Mikkel Landa wanted a piece of the day as well. And this was a fighting quartet that looked like they were going to moderate the man out front. It would have had no consequence on the result, but they were chasing Primož Roglic, and the gap at one point came down to 6 seconds. But Roglic just kicked on, constantly being able to find those apexes when he needed them. And when he took the bell, it was his to lose. Everybody else was thinking about minor places, perhaps. And Ayuso himself, well, wondering what might have been, I think. The gap holding solid. Adam Yates sent up to try and grind down that advantage that Roglic was posting, but nothing could stop the man. Second place, he has been here before, but turned it into victory on this day, surely. It was last chance saloon for the likes of Laurens de Plus, and yes, that margin may well have been narrowed, but it always seemed to lengthen. And then of course it became a battle for that podium on the day, and as far as Ayuso is concerned, he knew that the only jersey that he would be carrying home on this day would be the Young Riders classification. No shame in that. He's had a fabulous season, but a fabulous result it was for Roglic. Thank you very much, he said, holding his arms out, almost in telemark celebration. Coming home behind, well, it was to be minor places. The podium didn't include Ayuso. In fact, he's in that following bunch. And when he came across the line, he was absolutely at the back of it. His head bowed, but he can take a bow. That was a superb effort by Ayuso, and a great part of what was an amazing drama that ultimately was taken by Primož Roglic, our champion here in Catalunya. Always smiling, always intelligent, and indeed delivering beautifully on the day, and his margin of advantage as he crossed the line was a handsome one. As for Ayuso, well, he was, of course, to be content with that Young Riders classification, and you can understand why, but top step of the podium. Yes, indeed. Primož Roglic, our hero. Well, we fate him. And, of course, we fate all of the gladiators here. The GC standings, in the end, it was a handsome margin that Roglic was to take this. Not just that solitary second with the bonuses factored in and the gap that he posted at the line. What an amazing champion. King of the Mountains also belonging to Primož Roglic. Level on points with Wenzel at the end of the day, but courtesy of having taken higher category climbs along the way. And of course points, making a big point. Roglic as well. Owning green, blue and red. All the ribbons his way, save for orange. The Young Rider classification lead. Of course, Juan Ayuso. Been an amazing day, an amazing race, and we thank you for your company. Let's do it all again soon, shall we? That was wonderful.